Hi everybody, Laura here for Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to be making some festive tags with leftover die cuts that I had sitting around. So when I create for releases for Simon Says Stamp, I have so many die cuts and I usually save them. And this is what it looks like. And they pile up and pile up and pile up. And I thought, why don't I take some of these die cuts and put them on tags. And so I'm just going to have a little little tag making session and bring you along. So I was just going through all these, just kind of laying them out. I'll talk about what die sets they're from and how you could use them in this, that, and the other. Okay, so love all these little bits and bobs. And I'm thinking, how can these fit on tags? Let's see here. We have the layered pine sprigs. Love these. I can never get enough of a sprig. It goes with anything, anytime, anywhere. The winter sweater, one of my faves for sure. I actually didn't end up using it, but I have used it in the past. The balcony windows. Don't sleep on the balcony windows. And then you can also zhuzh them up. You have the frames dies that give you all these labels and outlines of labels. Those would be so fun to use on a tag as well. The rounded tags is what I'm going to use for my tag base. Two cardinal dies recently, the beautiful cardinal and the brilliant cardinal. I had the brilliant one kicking around and I love that on a tag too. I'm not actually going to use all of these, but because I only wanted to make the video so long, but I could make, as you could see, a bunch of tags. And then the magical mistletoe. That one was calling my name. I love the mixture of greenery with the berries. So here's the rounded tags die set. And the thing I love about this is you can make any size tag, teeny tiny up to super extra large. So I lay out my die cuts and I see what size do I want this to fit. You need a little bit of breathing room, maybe room for a to and from or a sentiment. So I'm going to start with this. It's the, what would you say, the third largest tag. I die cut it out of some buttercream. I love that buttercream with a white window and a nice wreath, maybe even garland. I'm not sure, but I'm just getting the lay of the land. Those dice came from the Holiday Window Decor die set. Now, to zhuzh it up, we have the thread plaid embossing folder. This is one of my faves. I have a few kind of staple embossing folders that I don't think are ever going to go out. They're not really like seasonal. They're just anytime. And I love this plaid. It's called Thread Plaid. I did it on buttercream on that rounded tag die. And it's just a neutral texture. I put some of the 3D foam squares on the back of this window. I'm going to pop it up because dimension is life. Now here's the thing I love about it. You can still open the window. Now, do you need to open the window? No. But do you want to open the window? Yes, you do. Okay, so I'm gluing the wreath to only one side. That way, you could still open the window. Not that you need to, but just in case you want to. I think I put the wreath up a little too high. It didn't really give much room for a garland, so we're going to skip the garland. But I'm going to emboss a bunch of sentiments. This is from the CZ Tree Plate Greetings little mini stamp set. And while I have it all out, I'm going to go ahead and just emboss like 5 different sentiments. I thought about just stamping them black on white, keeping it very simple, but I wanted to be extra. I felt it. So I'm prepping some white cardstock with the Simon Says Stamp powder tool, inking up all the sentiments with Versamark ink, and then I'm going to pour on Simon Says Stamp gold embossing powder. And that just takes it from nice to pa-pow, in my opinion. Okay, I love to do this over top of scratch cardstock. Get the heat gun piping hot and then heat these all up and you got shimmery, fancy schmancy sentiments. I love that there's coordinating dies for these sentiments. And I'm just going to go ahead and line these all up on my cutting plate and die cut all 5 in one shebang. So now I have a bunch of sentiments to pair with my tags. If I want to. Maybe I'll just save them for later. I'm not sure. But I put some 3D foam squares on this Happy Holidays and pop that down at the bottom. Now I was thinking, what about a little glossy accents on the baubles, on the ornaments, on the wreath? Yay or nay? You could also do little tiny gems. You could do little drops, but I'm going to set that off and let it dry. And now you have glossy little baubles. We're on to tag number 2. I had some of this Tim Holtz metallic cardstock kicking around, and I thought, I have been itching to emboss metallic cardstock. So I pulled out the Starbright embossing folder and embossed this copper. Talk about Shazam. Okay, now magical mistletoe. I was thinking, what can even go on? That tag is so busy and so shiny. I'm not sure what can compete with it. I'm going to add a little magical mistletoe. Now, I had one put together, but I felt like it wasn't like proportional. It's almost like you needed 2 to fill out the space. So I'm quickly putting together another little mistletoe. I have 2 different shades of kind of tealy green cardstock here. I'll have, by the way, if I forget to mention a supply, I'll have everything linked in my description box if you're watching this on YouTube. By the way, I'm using the Positively Perfect Craft Glue Mini. And not to brag or anything, but I've almost gone through 2 bottles of the mini. And I think maybe I should just use the larger size. But there's something about that little mini bottle that feels good in the hand. Okay, I also went ahead and cut a few little mistletoe sprigs out of shimmer vellum. Just for a little, I don't even know. I saw it in my drawer and I thought, why not add a little shimmer? I felt like the mistletoe needed a little shimmer to compete with the shimmery tag base. Now these are the Peppermint Positively Dazzling Gems, and I'm going to pop on a couple of red ones. Not on every berry, because I'm not crazy, but a couple berries, because the shimmer, the holiday shimmer is everything. But I love to use my supplies, but I don't want to use them all the way up. I still want to like low-key hoard them a little bit. Okay, so here's what the 2 mistletoe look like. Popping on one of those gold embossed sentiments. I'm only going to glue the mistletoe at the top. And then I pulled out, this is a pretty bow die set, and I'm going to die cut a bow out of more of that kind of like shimmery vellum. I'm just going to put a bow at the top of the mistletoe just to kind of hide that not so attractive point at the top. And then while I had the dazzling gems out, I'll put a clear one on the bow. I'm just having a good old time. So we have 2 tags done. I'm going to do one more. I don't want to bore you with too many, but I want to inspire you just a smidge. Okay, now I'm going to make more of a religious nativity tag. So I did a very light blue tag. I'm going to emboss it with the Rainbow Splash Twinkling Stars embossing folder, because I thought stars, that would go good with nativity. That's what I was thinking. I wanted something kind of neutral. And okay, so you have that light rounded tag, little bit of glue. That's the thing with these teeny tiny intricate die cuts. You got to put light glue. You need enough, but not too much. Love these retractable tweezers. Popping on another gold embossed sentiment. I love how this looks, but it's a little bit bare. So a sprig it is. If something seems bare, I'll tell you what the answer is. Sprig it up. Sprig it up and you'll be surprised. A little bit of greenery, maybe a red bow or a red berry, and next thing you know, you got a jolly little tag. Okay, layering up the sprigs, and then I'll go ahead and die cut another one of those, what were they called? Dainty pretty bows. I can't remember. I'll add a little dazzling gem because let's be extra. And then now I'm going to thread some twine on all these tags. I have this silver and white twine. This is by Simon Says Stamp. And I love to come through the back and then thread it up. This would also look pretty if you threaded these tags with ribbon or velvet ribbon. So here you have 3 tags, just using some extra die cuts, kicking around. Maybe I've inspired you to sit down and have a little holiday tag making session. It really brings the joy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.
there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.